Hello and welcome to the Freq Show. I'm Jaclyn Steele Thurmond. This is Sam Thurmond, and I guess we're winging it today. I mean, I'm winging it. You're not, because you have the template, but I don't even know what the topic is.
Yeah, we're going to wing it a little bit. And I wanted to kind of come into this one with you blind because I just want to have like a conversation, you and I, versus, talking to the camera.
So this is a behind the scenes.
Yeah, a little bit. I think I think it's a good conversation for us to have. And two, I think it'll be helpful for folks. So I'll just jump right into it. But let me remember what we're talking about. But so
we have a lot going on right now, guys. This episode's probably going to air the end of August. And by that time, we'll have another baby, but we're banking some episodes so that we can be super consistent with the podcast, but have that first, month or two to just enjoy the baby and not have a bunch of interviews.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll share the title of the podcast so we can start the thread, right? Learning.
I love you.
Learning. So the title is Same Team, Same Dream, How to Align Your Relationship Around the Big Picture. Okay.
Oh, I love this.
And what I want to talk about today is vision.
Okay.
As a couple, as a family, the importance of that, of sharing the same vision, to make sure that everybody's on board, everybody's aligned, and everybody's working toward the same thing. Okay. So at the end of July, we will have been married for 15 years, 17 years together. So we've experienced a lot, newlywed life, military life.
Yeah, your deployment.
Baby life, music life, corporate life, entrepreneur life, all these different phases of our lives together. And so we've been through a lot. We've been through
lived in multiple states too.
Yeah. Countless moves and starting over multiple times, highs and lows in that journey. Now we're about to start baby number 2 journey with a 3-year-old. So there have been all these different phases in our life together over the last 17 years, which has been incredible. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. But what I wanted to ask you today, and I want you to be honest,
okay,
is how would you grade us as a couple in regard to creating a vision for our family so far? And I want you to think all the way back to the beginning too. So not just how are we doing today? I want to kind of, look in retrospect and say, how did we do at this? Create, you and I sharing a vision, good, whether it was good or bad, or, some good, some bad, which is, well, I won't even plant seeds, but I want you to not just look back a year ago, 5 years ago. I want you to go all the way back to Biloxi, Mississippi, Keesler Air Force Base. We got married.
So in love.
We got married in front of a preacher and a couple of family members. From that point on, obviously we dated for 2 years before that, but from that point on, how would you say that we have done as a team, as a married couple, having a vision, creating a vision, and having a vision, and being aligned with that so far?
Not very well until the last few years.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Well, I want you to explain.
So I feel like when we first got married, I was much clearer on what I wanted to do, even though my dreams were astronomically huge. I wanted to be in the music business. And I think when I told you that, you were kind of like, yeah, okay. But I was like, no, seriously, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
And I think you were less clear on what you wanted to do, but you were also committed to the military. So you didn't have a whole lot of choice.
Yeah. And I think when we were dating, you were kind of like, either want to be an attorney or I want to pursue music.
Yeah.
So it was kind of two
Extremes.
extremes. Yeah.
Is that indicative of my personality? Do I have an extreme personality?
Well, I mean, I think there was a practical plan.
Yeah.
You know, your dad's an attorney, so you kind of grew up in that world. And obviously, that is a very structured, safe, I guess, route to pursue. You know, everybody's going to be like, you know, you're an attorney.
Good job, Jack.
Yeah, you went to law school, all that, which you would have been an amazing attorney.
Thank you.
You probably still would. But
my dad told me it's a waste of time now.
Yeah.
He's like, do what you're already doing.
Yeah.
Don't go to law school.
AI attorneys here pretty soon. But yeah, I think if I'm being honest, I think at that point in our relationship, that early on, I was probably like, of those two options, she'll probably be an attorney versus be a rock star. You know what I mean? Because I also
and you come from a very practical family.
Yeah,
very,
but
very
I also
practical.
Knew you too, and don't take this the wrong way, but you weren't giving off like rock star vibes from a lifestyle standpoint.
Yeah.
You know, you were such a good, pure young lady, and it just my understanding or what my perception of the music industry and that life, kind of, I didn't see that aligning with you.
Yeah,
but you had all of the talent, you have the personality, you had the personality to do it, but. Back to the what we're talking about, I think I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Well, I think most people wouldn't expect that. But I think going back to the thread I started with was, I think you were much less clear on your career ambitions than I was. I think you knew you wanted to have a family and you wanted to have security, but beyond that, I don't know that you looked much further than the military.
Yeah.
And I think had we not gotten married and had I not been that fly in your ear, so to speak, going, hey, what lights you up? What are you really interested in? Like, yeah, the military is good. And if you want to stay in the military, that's one thing. But if you're not passionate about this, life is way too short for us not to be going big and going hard.
Yeah. At that point in time, the military was, as an adult, all I knew.
Yeah.
And I went to an academy, so that was my college experience as well. So it was what I knew. And you have a clear, secure, financially secure path to retirement, you know? And I think at that point in life, I didn't see my occupation as being like that important, honestly. I mean, I was 26, you were 24, right? Is that right?
When we got married?
Yeah.
I was 23. I wasn't even 24 yet. I was almost 24.
Yeah. So we were still just,
Babes.
Youngins.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really all that focused from a career standpoint.
Yeah.
But thankfully, you had aspirations that were outside of the norm. And I think that pushed me. It certainly pushed me. It did cause contention. I mean,
for sure. With us and our families.
Yeah.
I think everybody thought I was kind of nuts. But I was born with a fire in my belly to love my life in every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew that it was possible. I just didn't know how to get there.
Yeah.
But I always knew I'm going to do something that I love. Yeah. I'm not going to settle for anything less. And it took a while to get there. And it took trying multiple things to get there. But I'm just not somebody who settles, though, either.
Yeah.
In anything.
That's true.
I want to be the best at what I do and really exhaust my potential.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think early on, it was very hard for us to align on a vision.
Extremely hard.
Because you had aspirations, you had dreams that you wanted to chase. We were married. We knew we loved each other. We knew we were committed to each other. But being in the military, you're told what to do. You're told where to go. You're told what to wear. You're told where to show up. And there wasn't a lot of flexibility in that. I was deploying every year, basically.
Yeah. And so you think about that, like I have very different aspirations than you do from the get-go. And that's a contentious thing in our marriage. And then you deploy for almost a year at a time.
Yeah.
It's kind of a miracle that we're still together. It shows how much we love each other and how committed we are.
Yeah. And I think at that point in life, your vision was to pursue your dream. My vision was to create stability.
Mm-hmm.
However,
I'd say
that
that's
needed
very
to happen.
accurate. Yeah.
And so the dividing line in there, or the gap in there, was for you to pursue music was kind of a great unknown, especially for me at that point. So I guess we started out not on the same page.
Yeah.
From a vision standpoint.
Yeah.
Like drastically not on the same page.
Drastically not on the same page. Yeah. And I think really it's only been since we had Roman that we've really gotten on the same page. Because I remember like the beginning of 2018 and 2019 around New Year's Eve or New Year's Day saying, hey, like we can work together. We can create this amazing business and we can renovate properties together and join forces. And I know I'm really good at this and you're really good at this. And I remember being so disappointed and feeling rejected by you, truly, because I feel like you didn't want to partner with me. And so I think that created another 3-4 years of us professionally not being on the same page.
Yeah.
Too. And me just feeling like, man, what are we doing? Because I knew Georgia wasn't the place for us to be long term. You weren't particularly happy there. I wasn't particularly happy there. I was grateful for our home. I was grateful for our friends. And, you know, having some family around. But I just knew like this is not the place for us to grow roots.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough opportunity where we were.
Yeah.
And so I felt very stagnant for several years.
I kind of feel like that period of time was both of us pursuing things, but in a limited mindset and limited way.
Extremely.
You were pursuing music, but in Athens, Georgia, in a small town, you know, known for music, but not like Nashville or LA or something like that. And I was getting, that's where I started in real estate, but I didn't feel like I was equipped. I had some self-doubt myself. And so I felt like I needed other partners in order to make it happen. And so we were kind of, I guess, halfway pursuing our goals and objectives, but not really aligned.
No. And I feel like, if I'm truly honest, there were multiple times during that first part of our marriage, minus the last few years, where I would be like, hey, I don't feel like we're aligned. And I feel like we need to get aligned. And I feel like you were pretty resistant. And I don't know if it's because you just didn't know how to get aligned, or if you didn't know what that looked like. But I feel like in my heart, I was always like, can we get on the same page? Can we have a plan for this? Can we have an exit strategy from where we're living right now? Because I feel like I'm withering away.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were more hesitant to give me any kind of feedback or answer or direction.
Well, I think I was in a position where I wanted to support you.
Yeah.
But I also, the pragmatic side, didn't know how to fully, buy in. And I think that's an important piece to talk about, both people buying in on the vision. I didn't know how to fully buy in at that point because I didn't know how I was supposed to provide the security. I felt like that was my responsibility.
Yeah.
And you wanting to go different places and pursue your dreams, I didn't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't see clearly how to do that while providing what I felt like I needed to provide.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like, that was the hill that I couldn't see over
Mm-hmm.
that was holding me back.
Yeah. And I think for me, I very logically understood that, but I also felt like we had made so many leaps up to that point. You know, moving to Idaho together, moving to California together was a huge leap. Then moving back to Georgia was a huge leap. And I was like, we've done this before. Why can't we do it again?
Sure. Yeah, I think, well, from marriage to Georgia, that was a period of marriage to leaving Georgia was, how long was that period?
We
That
got
was
married
like
in
7 years, 8 years?
2010 and we left Georgia in 2020.
So that was a 10-year period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think if I zoom out, I think it was a 10-year process. Do you know what I mean? Like it was a 10-year process of step by step. Okay, step one, you get out of the military. We moved to California.
Mm-hmm.
There were some struggles there
Mm-hmm.
in multiple areas. Then we moved to Georgia, started over in Georgia. There were struggles there, which, you know, you
There's
should
struggles
always
everywhere.
expect to have
Yeah.
struggles starting over. And so at that point, it was kind of like, you know, we'd been married for 10 years. We were unclear if we were going to have kids. There were still unknown. It still felt very like falling behind from like a career perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Well,
you
we
know,
took so many risks.
yeah, so we'd started over. So it was kind of like the thought of, man, we're going to go start over again and start from zero. Or do we just like settle and do as well as we can here? You know,
And I think you were in the camp of let's settle, let's put down roots and be here. But I just felt, and I've been writing a book, you know, The Frequency of Belief, and going through the journey of how we got to where we are now and how the frequency of belief has been such a pivotal part of our journey. But during that time in Georgia, I just always felt like I'm trying to put on this shoe that doesn't fit. I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to walk around in it, but I just don't feel like I belong here.
Well, I wouldn't say that I was on the side of settling. I knew that you wanted out of there.
Yeah.
And that you weren't happy there. So I think for me it was more nuanced than that. And then it's like, okay, can we just chill for a minute until we get a little further?
Yeah.
And we can kind of lay out the steps a little more clearly.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was coming from. It wasn't like, hey, we got to stay here. We got to plant roots and we're not going anywhere, because I didn't want that to be our relationship, or affect our relationship more than it did.
Yeah.
But, you know, then we did the complete opposite and sold everything and bought an RV and just hit the road, you know,
which I was so excited about because we were in Georgia for 6 years. You know, it's not like we were there for a year. It was 6 years of like trying to plant roots, trying to get settled, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I think I was just ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I think that, I think that process of selling everything and hitting the road was one of the best decisions we ever made.
Yeah. I agree. But you also need to realize that we kind of did get to a point where it was feasible. Like from a business standpoint, there was enough understanding and education in real estate to say, okay, we can kind of do this and not be here.
Yeah. Patience is not my strong suit.
Yeah. But I think sometimes we look at, we're zoomed in too closely and need to zoom out a little bit to see that both, it wasn't just like, oh, you should have done this 5 years earlier and gotten on with it. But, so anyway, so we left Georgia, lived in the RV for a year, got out here. And, okay. So from that point, how do you feel about
I feel
aligning?
like out of necessity, we got more and more aligned.
Mm-hmm.
in Georgia, it was cool in that it seems like not seems like, it was the truth. Several of our friends moved to Georgia to be part of the real estate business and what we were kicking off. And we had 3 guys living in our house that, 2 of them were your business partners. So we had like a business incubator in our house 24/7. And there were a lot of benefits to that. But I think after we left, and it was back to just being the 2 of us without the distraction of business partners and other people around all the time, it was easier to go, hey, Sam, can we focus on me and you?
Yeah.
And I think you started to take that more seriously. There were a lot of things that needed to be buttoned up with your partnership. But then I remember a pivotal moment, and it was shortly after Roman was born, maybe like a few months. And things had gone sideways in several areas of your former partnership. And I looked at you and I was like, in my mind, I was like, I hope he gets this, because I feel like I've been saying it every way I know how without begging him. But I remember looking at you and saying, Sam, you've got to put our family first over this partnership with these guys. We have a baby now. And even if you don't want to join forces with me in business, like, our family has to be the priority. And I think both you and I have a tendency to just naturally prioritize other people and their feelings and we want everybody to win, which is a good thing. I always want everybody to win, but we were allowing people to win at our expense.
Yeah. Well, it happened before that. That happened in the trailer, that conversation.
Maybe the first part of it, but I was sitting at this table in our Oak Street house, and I remember saying to you, can you please put our family first? Because it was after. No, it's that.
Because it was always for our family.
Of course. But you also come from a military background where it's been ingrained in your mind to take care of the team. And when somebody is on your team, you are like, I take care of the team. And you are loyal to a fault. And at that point, when we had that conversation, it was after a major falling out with one of your business partners who had totally mistreated you, in my opinion. And I just looked at you and I was like, we've got to stop splitting all of our profits with this person who's just blatantly taking advantage. And that's when I think like something clicked for you. So I'm not blaming you. It's been trained.
Yeah. Well, but I'm just saying that it started before that. That was a result of me snapping that chalk line.
Yeah. That's a good metaphor for
that all happened after I said, okay, this is enough. And that happened when we were living in the RV. I said, okay, guys, we're shutting it down. We've got 6 months to shut it down, plan accordingly. And then that fallout started happening afterward in that process, which that was probably a year or 2 later that you're talking about. So in that unwinding of all that was when that happened.
Yeah. But I feel like the RV is really, we call it the trailer. Roman one time was like, I was born in a trailer. And I was like, no, we lived in an RV before you were born. But I feel like that, out of necessity and out of the hardship of living that way and all of the ups and downs financially that we experienced just in that short period of time, that kind of, to me, solidified our partnership. Yeah. Not only did we have to work together to just keep everything going, just parking the RV required both of us, right? And so I think that very hard time allowed us to go, we're the team.
Right.
Whereas before, I think, we were young, we had friends, we had business partners, we had other people involved. And that, to me, solidified the time. And that was the first time I feel like we actually sat down and went, what kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of car do you want to drive? Like, you saw me writing what kind of car I wanted to drive when we first got to Georgia. You saw me doing that, but we sat down in that RV and mapped out how much money we wanted to make, what we wanted our lives to look like, where we wanted to live. And that was when I started to feel like not only I always knew our marriage was going to work because we're committed to each other, but that's when I felt like there's something really special happening right now.
Yeah. I still have all those papers. I just looked at them the other day.
Oh,
But I
I wanna
agree
see
with
'em.
you. I agree with you. I feel like that's when I think our visions were fighting each other in a lot of ways up until that point. And I think we're still refining,
Yeah.
certainly, but that
Well,
was
and there
definitely
have been so many pivots that we've had to make.
a turning point for sure.
Mhm.
And it is also kind of when we started finding more of a groove and things started falling into place,
Mhm.
when we got aligned on what our vision was. So the overall
I always
takeaway,
knew it would.
the
Not to
overall
say I told you
takeaway
so,
is
but
I would agree that we were not great at our combined vision at first. I think we
Mhm.
didn't even have a combined vision for a long time.
No.
And I think we struggled in a lot of ways and it caused a lot of strife.
Mhm.
But over the last 15 years almost now, I think there was always the desire to align, but I think just the way that we think is different in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
And so we've just come closer and closer and closer to meet each other in the middle.
Mhm.
And I do feel like in recent years is when we really started to align.
And I feel like as a result, we are so much happier. I think we have a healthier dynamic and our son feels that, but also business-wise and financially, it's affected us greatly
Mm-hmm.
in a positive way.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, maybe don't take 15 years to do it if you don't have to. But at the same time, those are hard conversations. When one person wants one thing and the other person wants
Something totally
something
different.
totally different, it can feel like you're so far apart
Mhm.
that how do you bridge that gap? But I think the only way to do it is to remain committed and show commitment. Both sides show commitment that you're working toward each other
Mm.
as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think the thing that has held our marriage together is knowing that we love each other at the root of everything and that we're committed to each other at the root of everything. And we have never threatened each other with like, well, I might just leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's never been something we've thrown around.
Yeah.
Even when we are in like the heat of an argument, I remember one time at our Oak Street house, we got so mad at each other and I just went and sat in the carport in the car because our house was so small and I was like, I just need some space. And like every 5 minutes, I'd see you peeking through the blinds just to make sure I was still sitting in the car.
I was so mad at you
You
too.
were so mad at me. And like I could see the look on your face, but then you'd have like a little bit of relief that I was still there.
Yeah.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, Sam, I'm not going anywhere. I just can't stand to be around you right now.
Yeah. But I think the most heated arguments we've ever had and the most serious arguments or differences that we've had, I know that I can think of maybe like 2 or 3 times where we've said that to each other. Once we've like kind of gotten over the initial rage that we have with each other is like, look, I'm not going anywhere, but we got to sort this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you and I have always been willing to have very difficult conversations.
Yeah.
And we don't sweep it under the rug or go, hey, we'll address that next week. We'll get into it and then just kind of stay there until we have a resolution. Or we'll say, we're not going to find a resolution today, but I still love you and I'm still here.
This episode of The Freq Show is brought to you by Higher Dose. Elevate your daily health and beauty rituals with their infrared PEMF, and red light devices. From detox and weight loss to recovery and relaxation, their biohacking technologies will transform your wellness routine. PEMF technology mimics the healing vibrations of the earth, enhancing the body's natural recovery process, reducing inflammation, increasing energy, relieving stress. It eases sore muscles, and it promotes deeper sleep. Higher Dose does not claim this, but some holistic health practitioners encourage the use of PEMF mats to get rid of excess radiation in the body from cell phones and Wi-Fi and all of the technology that we are exposed to daily. The red light face mask is an effortless addition to any skincare ritual and your best beauty investment yet. It helps to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. It boosts collagen and elastin. It reduces redness and ignites a radiant glow. I can attest to that. It works so well. It's also incredible if you want glowy, dewy, gorgeous skin. This red light face mask goes deeper, literally, by rejuvenating your skin and igniting an unmatched natural glow. Higher Dose generously offered our community 20% off of their products with the code BECKON, BECKON, at higherdose.com. Again, use the code BECKON at checkout for 20% off of your purchase at higherdose.com. This discount is not available for sauna purchases, but I can personally attest that everything I used from Higher Dose is absolutely incredible, and you will not regret this purchase or any of their purchases, okay? You can thank me later. Now back to the show.
We were talking about in the early days of our relationship how we would fight, and I, was raised by a lawyer. And so I just naturally was taught, if you have an argument, you have points under that argument. And so I think I just always kind of viewed any kind of disagreement as like, well, I have to lay out my case. And you viewed it as like, that's a lot of information in one sitting.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any different. Like, if you wanted to be taken seriously in my household, like, you had to have a good understanding of what you were talking about.
Yeah. I had to get used to being like hit with an overwhelming
amount of information
off the bat. And learn how to like verbally express my emotions, which that was the root of it.
Gosh.
Didn't understand.
Yeah, your processor was pretty slow at first.
It was non-existent, I would say.
I wasn't going to say that. But yeah, he would just shut down during our arguments and look at me like he was in another universe.
Just look at
Sometimes
you
you'd fall asleep.
I was just looking at you like, you are so freaking difficult.
And in my mind, I was like, can you have at least an emotion?
Yeah.
Like, are you excited? Are you mad? Are you sad? Are you anything? And you would just, sometimes you'd even fall asleep. Like, I'd stop talking and then you'd fall asleep and I'd be like, this mother.
I did. But hey, that's a pretty good weapon to have in your toolkit, to just be able to.
Oh, gosh. It is kind of a wonder that we've stayed married, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
I guess we're both stubborn.
Yeah. But I'll say I've come a long way.
I have too, I think.
No, but I've come a long way.
What I mean is, I think I've learned to give a lot more. Do you know what I mean? Instead of being like, I'm right. Just listen to how amazing my argument is.
Well, it's because my arguments have gotten better.
Your arguments have gotten better, but I've also realized, like, he gets to have a viewpoint and he gets to have feelings and he gets to have his perspective. And that perspective is very real for him. Even if I think it's inaccurate, that's what's real for you. And so I have to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we do have arguments now and you express yourself, I take your perspective very seriously. Because I know that that's your experience. Sorry, guys. We're having some tech difficulties today, but we're back. So hopefully it's all streaming properly. But yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So the question was, why is it so important to create a vision together?
Oh, well, first of all, from an emotional standpoint, it feels so good to be on the same page. And I think in partnership, when you know what you are working toward and you're both sharing that vision, even if you're going about it in your own ways, it creates so much peace and harmony.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it was a month ago or so, we did an episode about how we're planning our weeks now and just how much peace that has brought to our weekly lives and so much rest on the weekends because of it. And so I think emotionally and physically, that just creates a lot of peace and harmony to be on the same page and to be working toward the same goals. But then from a frequency standpoint, we double everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I bring a lot of energy to a project, that's great. But the Bible says where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I shall be also, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you and I join forces and bring both of our dynamic energies to something, I find that things manifest a lot faster. And we have had exponential financial and business success
Mm-hmm.
from where we were 5 years ago to now. And there's still so much that we want to do, but it has been a 180.
Yeah, and I think it obviously applies to business, but it's relational, spiritual, everything is impacted. And you're right, you're exponentially more effective, not only because you're both working toward the same thing, but you're also not working against each other in many ways, you know, if you're not on the same page. So,
Yeah. And I want to be on the same page with you. You know, I want to grow old with you. I want our children to have.
well, hold on.
Okay.
So, and I know we're kind of running long on this episode, but I wanted to end it with one thing I wanted to say though is a suggestion would be to not overcomplicate it. If you're in a position where you have a partner or a spouse or a kid as well, you know, being aligned with everybody in your family unit and having everybody on board, I think is important. If you don't feel like you're on the same page and you don't know how to bridge that gap, make your vision that you're all going to get on the same page. Like you may not know what it is today, but
That's beautiful though. Make that your intention.
if we rewound the clock 15 years ago and neither of us were on the same page and didn't know how to get aligned with the other person's goals and objectives, had we just been like, look, I don't know how to do this, but what we can do is commit to trying to get on the same page.
And I did have that prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe around 2020 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty simple, but if you say, hey, I don't know how we're going to do this, but one, I'm committed to you, and two, I'm committed to getting there. And then I think once both people are aligned in that commitment, then it'll fall in place a lot quicker than if you're on your own trying to figure something out.
Or trying to mold your partner to fit your vision.
Right.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you can only have a successful relationship if you truly respect your partner.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we've always dreamt together. We've always talked about different things we want to do and where we want to be and, all the different stuff that you talk about. But do you feel like we're aligned today? You've kind of already answered that, but
I feel like we are more aligned than we have ever been. I think I'm a person that is always looking for growth and always looking to refine things. So I think we have more room to get even more aligned. But I would say we are we are working as a pretty well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that we're better than we've ever been, but I do think that there's room for improvement, and it's kind of like fine tuning.
Exactly.
And
That's why I got us those journals.
yeah,
I was like, you can do yours, I'll do mine, we'll come together and do the shared.
yeah. Well, and it also changes over time, so it's not like a just one and done kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't know if you want to get into it or if we have time on this episode, but at the end, I wanted to. Sorry, got people calling. At the end, I wanted to talk like, what do you see as your vision for our family over the next 1 year, 5 years, 20 years? And I think we talk about that, whether right now on the
We're
podcast.
going to be empty nesters in 20 years. That's hard for me to even think about. But of course we can talk about this. And, you know, I do my affirmations. I have a pretty clear vision of how I want things to look. And a year from now, I want to be in a healthy routine, physically, you know, feeling healthy and strong after having baby number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, I feel like we're doing really well right now, but I want to create more stability because we know what it's like to not be financially stable because we've risked so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so a year from now, I want to have our nest egg be well over a year's worth of money. And I want to be investing more money monthly in real estate, in crypto, in stocks.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, financial security, but it goes beyond security into legacy. Like
Mhm.
I want to have a financial legacy, and I want us, and I say this unabashedly, I want us to have more money than we know what to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're going to be generous with it. I know we're going to be good stewards of it, but that's what I want. I want us to have more money than we know what to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we keep going the way we are now, a year from now, we're going to be in a really good position. And one of my affirmations is like, we can go anywhere we want, whenever we want, and in first class if we want to.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get to that point. And I think we'll be close a year from now
Mm-hmm.
to being there. 5 years from now, you know, part of me is like, do we want to have another baby after this? I am 38. You know, women are having babies in their 40s. I don't know. But, you know, I've always thought 3 kids. But at the same time, for a while, I didn't know if we were going to have any kids. So part of me, is very open to having another child. But also I know that having 2 kids is going to be just so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that 5 years from now, we have our place in Italy that we can go to every single summer to get out of the Scottsdale heat. And I'm hoping that we will still want to work hard, but we won't have to work so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I have like specific vehicle I want to drive. And, you know, I'd love to have a cabin in the woods that we can get away to on the weekends here. But overall, I love our life so much right now. And I just want to continue to build what we already have,
Mm-hmm.
or build on what we already have.
Yeah.
What about you? I'm interested to hear your 1 year take and your 5 year take.
Yeah.
And 20 years from now, I want to be sitting in Italy with you, clinking wine glasses and like making elaborate dinners and listening to music and dancing around naked.
Sounds good.
And like making our own olive oil.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Mm-hmm.
And working if we want to. I feel like we will be in our late 50s or you'll be in your early 60s by then, which really is like there's so much life left to live after that.
Yeah.
But I want us to be in a position where we only have to do projects we want to do.
Yeah.
If we want to. I feel like we both have personalities where we like to work,
Mm-hmm.
but I want the option to not have to if I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like we said before, we're more aligned than ever. And I feel like everything you just said are my favorite things to do every day.
Steve.
Little Nacho Libre reference. But yeah, 1 year from now, I think 1 year from now, I know you said a year. I think we're pretty close to that, but I want to do the Deerdick method and have 5 years.
5 years of income
uh,
in the bank.
5 years of expenses,
Thank you.
just
Expenses in the
liquid in the bank. I know that's not for a lot of people the smart thing to do as far as like how much money that money is earning, but from a peace of mind standpoint, go listen to Rob Dyrdek, his podcast. I don't even know if he's doing his podcast anymore,
I
but
don't think he is.
he had some pretty cool. He was sharing some pretty cool stuff a couple of years ago.
I brought a side note. I brought that up in my ladies' lunch the other day, and they were like, 5 years of income. Don't you want to just invest all that? And I was like, ladies, I want to have so much money that it doesn't matter that I have 5 years of income sitting in the bank.
Yeah.
But I want that 5 years of income just for peace of mind because we have risked every penny we own.
Yeah.
And I want that peace of mind too. But for me, it starts with a year of income banked. And right now I think we're at like 8 months or something.
Yeah. So I think that's an achievable objective in a year. I feel like
The 5 years is?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it depends on what you are calculating as our annual expenses, certainly. But like if our expenses, our budget stayed where it is today, I think that's feasible.
Yeah.
Because,
I don't want to add any more expenses.
The design side of the business is rocking and rolling. And that's just going to get bigger and better with all the different things that you're adding in. All of the other ventures that we have going on together, the commercial side, I feel like that's really starting to pick up now. I've been doing that for a little over 6 months, and I'm starting to see the fruit of that. And I think that will just compound exponentially.
I do too.
I'd like in a year to start acquiring some of the commercial assets and be a general partner in those so that they are, it's nice to get the acquisition fee on the front end, but have those really start turning into owning those assets for 3 to 5 years and then rolling that, 1031 that into some even bigger stuff.
You're talking sexy to me right now. I love the financial talk. Bring it on.
And having those create, free and clear cash flow every month, but also have a big upside on the back end. Like I'm talking like there's this guy that does private equity spoofs on Instagram that I follow that are pretty hilarious, but he just throws out all the jargon. But so I really am confident that all of the stuff that we're doing is going to just continue to accelerate. And a year from now, our new baby boy will be
almost a year old.
Roman will be
4 and a half.
4.5.
Oh.
And I think, I envision being able to. There's always going to be the juggle when you have little kids like that, but I envision just being able to be even more present than we are now, having hired some people on the business side, as well as like house management and all that kind of stuff. And I love to go anywhere, anytime, and fly first class if we want. I would say if I get to choose, we're definitely flying first class because
I'll fly with the baggage places. Like I just like to go and have adventures. But
I just want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So,
and I want to do adventures with our boys. That's super important to me. I mean, just last night when I called you and it was like 4 p.m. and I was like, hey, do you want to drop everything and pick up our son together and go to dinner and go get gelato and just create a core memory? We're about to have another baby. I want some core memories of just the three of us And it was so fun to just slow down and be present for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that we have those things on the calendar with our boys.
Yeah.
Whether it's 3-day weekends or 2-week vacations to Europe, you know, something way more luxurious. I want to make sure that we're so intentional about spending quality time with them.
Yeah. And I want us to be able to, you and I to be able to take trips, and
say less.
The grandmas to be able to watch the kiddos while we're gone. But,
yeah. And I think we should build that in every year too.
And I think, you know, having some more hobbies built in to life, you know, to where it's not just work and then nighttime routine kind of over and over again.
Like tennis and gardening and.
Well, you know, whatever, but just some variety outside of work and home.
Yeah.
And 5 years, I think 5 years looks similar, just times 5 in my mind.
How can it get any better?
Yeah. And 20 years, I agree. Let's just be on the beach or in the mountains somewhere and
Italy,
chilling out
or Greece,
bouncing around.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, as long as it's comfortable. As long as it's comfortable. But yeah, and I know there's a lot more. And I think we sit down and really like fill in the gaps and get detailed on that.
Yeah.
And that's what I said here. I think we spend some time and actually write it down, because I think it's one thing for us to say it, but like we did back in the trailer in the RV, actually write it down.
Yeah.
And revisit it regularly. Maybe we do that.
We put it on our fridge in the trailer or something, where we could see it.
But maybe we do that during our Friday meeting every week, just kind of go over it. But
let's do it tomorrow.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm in.
Vision aligned. All right, guys. That was a long one.
Yeah,
maybe we'll
but
have
it was
to split
beautiful.
This one into 2. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And I think that's just having that conversation with you is fun, and reflecting back on
how far we've come.
And, yeah, very cool. So closing question, straightforward. Are you and your family creating the vision for your family? I worded that really awkwardly. Have you and your partner, your spouse, whoever, created a vision for your family? And has everyone bought in?
Thank you for listening, guys, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening to The Freq Show with Sam Thurmond and me, Jaclyn Steele Thurmond. We would love to connect with you via our website, beckonliving.com, and on social media.
You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Beck and Living, and you can join our email list to receive uplifting messages, podcast and business updates, and discounts on high-frequency products just for our freaky community.
Cheers to high-frequency living.